So you're looking to get into digital art and you don't know where to begin. I know it can be frustrating learning something new, so here's 10 steps to help you on your way. What is digital art? Let's read it. Digital art, once called computer art or new media art, refers to the art made using software, computers, or other electronic devices. Anything produced or made on digital media such as animations, photographs, illustrations, videos, digital paintings, and such can be classified as digital art. The first thing you're going to need is some hardware. You're going to need a tablet or a PC with a tablet hooked up to it. You can use a screen or a non-screen tablet for PCs and Macs, or you can use your iPad or Microsoft Surface to draw directly on. The second thing you're going to need is a pen. You're going to have something to draw with, right? You can use your finger and draw right directly on there, or you can use a stylus that's, you can get at a gas station for some of them, or you're going to have to get an Apple Pencil, or with the Wacoms, they have like a Bluetooth pen that come with them. But if you get a professional tablet, it usually comes with the pen you need. If you don't have a pen, then you can use a stylus on some surfaces, and you can use your finger on others. But use what you got. The third thing you're going to need is some software. You're going to need a program that you can draw in. Back in the day when it first started, it was Microsoft Paint. You could use your mouse and kind of draw around however you saw fit. But now we've upgraded. We have pens, we have Apple iPads, we have all these programs that we can use. Adobe has a plethora of awesome programs that you can use, like Illustrator or Photoshop. iPads have, what is it called? Procreate. One of my favorite programs that I use. There's also another one that's Adobe Fresca, I think, that works really well too if you're trying to draw vectors. As far as free programs, you can get one that's called GIMP out there. I think it's open source and you can use it for free if you don't have any of the other programs. So pick whichever one works best for you. So you have everything you need to get started now. We just got to figure out how big to make it and what type of resolution you need. So you got to think of a couple things. Are you printing it? Are you just going to be keeping it on the web? Is it like an advertisement, or is it something that you're going to be printing as a flyer and giving away, or a poster? There's a few things to think about. If you're using real life like sizing, so you have a printer at home that's 8.5 by 11, you're going to carry that same measurement over into the digital world. So you just set up your program with 8.5 by 11. Typically, you want to start with a DPI, which is dots per square inch, and that's for printing. How many print dots are going to be within that inch? Typically starts at about 300 DPI. So set it to 8.5 by 11 by 300 DPI, and it'll be able to go up and down a little bit when you're printing or shrinking, and it won't really affect too much. If you're using a screen resolution, so it's like 1080p or 4K, then you need to switch over to pixels and then type in whatever the pixels are that you need. You can look them up on Google. You can figure out whatever screen size you have and use that measurement, or just go by the standard definition that you need. So pick your pixels wisely. So now you got your size and you need to figure out what type of color to use, right? You're going to choose CMYK or you're going to choose RGB. Just depends on what you need. CMYK is typically for printing, so it's going to use 4 colors to lay out your image. With RGB, it's going to use red, green, blue light spectrum, so it can create everything in between. So if you're staying digital and you're going to just use it online, or you're going to use it for video, then you need to switch it over to RGB. If you're going to use it for printing, it's probably wise to go ahead and make it in CMYK. Now your file's set up. You're all ready to go and you don't know what any of this is, right? The first thing you need to worry about is layers. Layers are like transparent film over top of each other that you build up. Think about it as your background, or like a sky scene being the very first layer. It's going to be layer 0 or layer 1. Now you're going to go on top of that with some trees. Then you're going to go on top of that with some birds. Then you're going to go on top of that with whatever water's in the front. Then maybe some bushes. So each one of those things is going to get their own layer. You want to think about layers because you can move and change layers without disrupting other parts of the painting or the artwork. So if I have a pair of glasses, right, and I have this thing, right, just a charger box, and I want it to be behind, I would put this on a layer, and then I would just move the layer if I need. If I put them both on the layer and then I try to move this, then it's both going to move like this. So separating parts of your image may help you go back and edit it later. So think about that. Right, so you got on layer 1. You're there. You've got it all set out. You understand layers. Now we need to figure out what brush to use. A lot of these programs are going to have different brushes. You can get online and download free brushes or buy brushes and support brush makers and artists. There's a lot of ways to attain brushes, but the base sets that you're going to have are going to be very good to work with. Typically, I like to use something that's like a sketch pencil first, and then I'll go back with something that's a little bit more like an ink pen or a really fine brush, something like this, right? And kind of work like I work in real life. So once I get that ink in there, then I'll come back in with either an airbrush tool or I'll come in with something that's more painterly-like and fill in my areas and kind of color down like that. But really, to begin, you only need something to sketch with. That'll give you a loose outline and kind of help you figure out which direction you're going, your composition, all the basics. And then you want to come back in, make it a little bit more solid with some line work or just sort of create your edges, and then come in, fill, then shadow, then highlight, then you're on your way. So now you're drawing, you're ready to go, you got it all figured out, and things seem to take a long time. They're like clunky, you don't know which way to go, you're trying to figure stuff out. That's when you're going to start learning about your hotkeys for whatever program it is that you use. If you're using iPad, 2 fingers, boop, will erase. If you're using Photoshop or you're using Illustrator, Control Z will undo whatever you just did. So there's ways to go through and sort of figure out what shortcuts are, right? Like Control V, Control X if you're cutting or you're copying, pasting, or copying, cutting, and then Control P for paste, and then Alt P for print. There's all kinds of little things that you can learn within your program. And I know specifically with Procreate that you can actually create a quick menu that pops up and you can actually adjust it to whatever you use the most. So learn your hotkeys, learn shortcuts. This is going to save you a ton of time in the long run, and you're just it's amazing once you kind of figure everything out, and then you can just get in there, tackle what you need to tackle without going through menus or going through all kinds of different motions just to get to the next brush or to get something undone. So hotkeys are super important. Learn your shortcuts. Yeah, that's the best way to go. All right, so you've made it this far. You figured it out. You've got your art on your layers. You got your layers all lined up, and you got something that you're happy with, and now you want it, right? You got to get it out of the program into the printer. You got to get it out into the social media so people can see it. So what you're going to do is export. This is where basically taking what you've created and now you turn it into a file instead of layers. Those files can range from JPEGs to PNGs. If you want something like, if you're looking for something with a transparent background, you'll typically work with a PNG. If you're working with something that you just want kind of a high resolution photo, then you'll probably focus a lot more on just the JPEGs. Either way, whichever way you go, it's going to be okay. If it doesn't work out, just try to resave as the other one, and you'll kind of work through it. But make sure you export at full resolution, not 50% or 25%. No preview resolutions. You just want to export the whole thing as a really nice file size, and get that to your printers or get that online and let people check it out. So now you have a collection of all of this artwork, right? It's a picture, picture, file, picture. Back your stuff up. Get you an external hard drive, some sort of extra storage that you can save and back up things on this. If you're drawing on a tablet and you break it, all those files are done unless you take it to a magician that's able to pull them all off. The PCs, sometimes PCs crash, sometimes hard drives crash, so it's good to have like maybe a couple different backups. I have one that's like 100 terabytes or something, and I take everything that I have once I'm, like maybe once or twice a month, I'll take it all and move it all over to my big hard drive so that I have it just sitting in case I need some sort of backup file. There's nothing worse than spending hours and hours and hours drawing just to lose it all because an electronic breaks. So definitely think about your external hard drives and backing up your information, backing up your drawings, making sure that your digital art stays safe. Hey, thanks for watching this. I enjoy teaching, so if you enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe, do all the stuffs. It helps pay off. If you really want to support me directly, please go to TonyTrip.com. Check out all of the awesome merch I make. I have a bunch of prints, and you can check out some of the digital artwork that I have done. Have a good day.